Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 197 of Report This Post, the podcast about bad posts and bad people. My name is Geiger. That is Christian.
Hell yeah, dude.
And we are your hosts with the posts. Every week, Christian, myself, or a listener select a different topic and then find horrible posts for your listening pleasure. This week's topic, as chosen by a listener named David, is Cum Town.
That's right.
Cum Town. Well, before we get into what Cum Town is for the uninitiated, we have a guest joining us, who's a gentleman who's on the show for the second time in the past fiscal year, I believe, as we determined before the show.
Is it? Yeah, just about.
Roughly,
just shy.
Yeah. And speaking of shy, this guy's a real shy guy. His name is Sam. He's from Twitter. You know him as at Real Online Boy.
Hey, folks. I'm a little bit scared realizing I might be the Adam in this situation.
Yeah.
I really don't.
You for sure are not Adam.
Oh, no? Who
I
am
think
I?
the Adam's been well established in the history of this show.
Yeah, I am 100% the Adam in this
Oh,
situation.
thank God.
Well, Sam,
God.
you're bald, so I think that has to play a big role. And I'm clearly the autistic one, so I have to be Nick.
I am bald and horny, but I am not morbidly obese.
That's true, and growing every single day, it seems.
I can't remember if this is something Nick said on the show or if this is something I said to a friend. I think it might be something Nick said, but Stav is getting dangerously close to reaching the Xbox weight again. He's got to be close to 360. I mean, he looks about 330 right now.
He's getting
troubling.
up there.
It's troubling, to be frank.
But what's possibly even more troubling is that you don't know the difference between your own talking and the show Cum Town.
That doesn't seem that unusual for a fan of the show.
Well,
when I reached out...
based on all the posts that we have in this here episode, yeah.
When I reached out to Sam to do this, he said, I'd love to find horrible posts about my favorite podcast for my friend's podcast. And I was like, well, you didn't have to phrase it that way. You literally could have said it any other way than that, but that's okay.
Yeah, my favorite podcast for a podcast that well, you know.
No, I love and subscribe and am a Patreon and listen frequently.
That's
true.
Sam
that is the damn truth.
Just like everyone else that's listening right now, you should head over to patreon.com/report this post and join in.
You really
should.
Fun.
You're going to hear a lot more posts in this here episode by doing so.
My friend listens to the free episodes, the half ones, and I can't believe him doing that. Travis,
you're missing out a lot.
You're listening right now. Go subscribe.
Yeah. Are you some kind of fucking moron or something, Travis? I think you should go do that. I'm sure you spend money on worse things.
Yeah.
Speaking of Patreon, though, as of June 2022, Cum Town is the 10th most popular podcast on Patreon, according to their
and it
Wikipedia
will soon be
page.
Not on Patreon, probably within a year.
Well, okay.
It really blows me away.
Before we get too much into the nitty-gritty, why don't we share, because we have listeners who actually, believe it or not, don't know what the hell Cum Town is. So,
yes.
Christian, if you can explain what the hell is Cum Town exactly.
Yes. So they have an official Wikipedia entry. Cum Town is a comedy podcast founded in 2016 and hosted by New York-based comedians Nick Mullen, Stavros Halkias, and Adam Friedland. It has featured guests including Tim Dillon, David Cross, Dave Bam Margera, Dan Soder, Bonnie McFarlane, Jim Norton, Brandon Wardell, and Dasha Nekrasova.
Mm-hmm.
It is underneath the genre of black and blue comedy, surrealist humor, anti-humor, and political satire.
Oh yeah,
wow.
That sounds sounds right. Cum Town episodes are typically 60 minutes in length, almost almost always exactly 60 minutes long.
Sometimes they just hit stop on the recorder in the middle of a sentence at 60
It used to be that way. Back when they liked doing the show. Sometimes you get an hour 10. Now it's like 59, 58.
They're counting down. Mullen is the primary host and producer of the show. Halkias and Friedland are co-host. Friedland began as a frequent guest who first appeared in the show's second episode and often serves as the butt of Mullen and Halkias' jokes and insults. Right there in the Wikipedia article. That's brutal. Many of the show's riffs come from crude puns and rhymes. For example, Louis seems gay instead of Louis C.K.
When you write it out like that, it really
is an incredible article. That is just
gay.
God damn. Oh. Yeah, so there's a whole. If you guys want to, there's a whole article.
Okay,
including
I hope this episode isn't
left
just
association
us laughing about Cum Town jokes.
It's gonna be.
That's brutal.
It's gonna be part of it.
That's tough. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so Cum Town's a podcast. It's one of the few things that we've done on the show that I actually really like.
Yes.
I haven't listened in a little while, but because the past few months the shows have been especially unappealing. But
see, I don't agree. I still listen. The last 5 have been bangaroonies.
It's really more I'm just listening to other stuff right now, so I kind of have to be in the mood to be. And once I'm in it, then I'm like, I can go 7 straight months of listening to Cum Town all day.
Believe me, I know.
But yeah, so it's a good podcast, funny. Not for everybody. I'll just put it like that. Based on some experiences I've had.
I can't help myself sometimes when the girl on Hinge is like, recommend me a podcast. Sometimes I'm just like, you should listen to Cum Town. I don't know why. I don't do it very often. I'm not like spending a digital rose to send it. It's just a free like if I'm saying that. But it's never worked. But I can't help myself.
But you know what? When it finally does,
that's when you definitely don't stay with that woman, because that's a bad person. You don't want to be with a woman that loves Cum Town.
Wrong. I literally have to be. I literally have to be.
Oh, brother. Great. So, David, who is apparently a listener of this show, chose Cum Town as a topic. Christian, why did he choose Cum Town?
David said, I only listen to 2 podcasts, Report This Post and Cum Town. I really appreciate the show. Started listening in 2018-ish, and it has gotten me through many long nights at the office.
Wow. Well, this should be a real humdinger of an episode for you, David. It's going to be a lot of posts by people like you. So that should. We'll see how that makes you feel.
Post by, about. Yeah.
Yeah, we got some good ones here, folks. The fan base is sort of notoriously, the ones online, they used to have a subreddit that was banned because there was a lot of people doing very poor imitations of Mullen's ironic racism, and just straight up just posting actual, like, we should kill the Jews and stuff like that. Typically doesn't go over well over on the anti-free speech Reddit. So, a lot of weirdos listen. I will say this. I meant to mention this earlier, but Christian and I saw Stavros do stand-up comedy live just a few months. I guess last year.
November. Yeah. So just over a few months ago. Yeah, for sure.
And he was awesome.
It was
tremendous.
He's a very good. His crowd work is some of the best. I gotta say,
he really is incredible at it.
He's really good at just
and to do that crowd work. To do that crowd work while being so fat is really just makes it doubly impressive.
Yeah, it was like he's so fat it's like watching a crowd work. Actually. What's funny is he was actually, when he was down here, he was like, I'm actually like in the middle of a healthy kick. And I was like, he actually is looking kind of on this felt side. But now, he's a goddamn, he's a big fat balloon. And it wasn't
really
that long
worrying.
ago. But hey, whatever. You know what? He's
we
living
love
a
him
good
to
life.
death.
Yeah.
We love him till his soon
till
death.
his death. That's right. Yes.
Hopefully not until after this episode drops. But
Yes.
actually, or the day of would actually boost the numbers a lot. So, Stav, if you're gonna do it,
We wouldn't get the retweet, but it'd be good.
No. Yeah, that's true.
Great.
All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and start reading some posts about all this whole thing?
I think that sounds like a great idea. So kicking off here, Red Scare is a sister podcast of sorts to Cum Town.
Okay.
And over on
now,
Reddit...
That is the... So Red Scare is the, like... I've never listened to a second of it. I can't even imagine what they actually say, but I understand it's like it's the girls doing politics stuff, but they have a lot of irony as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of vocal fry. Yeah, it's basically, yeah, I'd say Girl Cum Town's a good way of saying it. There's a lot of overlap there in multiple ways, for sure.
Yeah. As we'll see.
Yeah, over on Reddit, their fans talk about Cum Town a lot. Probably more so than the actual podcast, which is insane.
Yeah.
This one's from their subreddit, our Red Scare Pod, where Alexandra Wallace 69 asked, "Is Nick Mullen the nicest person in the dirtbag extended universe?" I think anybody else would have jumped on the opportunity of making fun of an enemy if said enemy appeared in a BDSM video eating their own cum off a cookie. Listeners out there, you may know who that's in reference to.
Another... Goddamn, there's too many.
There's so many.
There's
so much in stuff. Yeah. Funkick 9595 commented, "Yeah, the dude is intelligent, very well-meaning, and ethical, but he's also alienated, nihilistic, probably manic-depressive, and someone who seems to lash out at everything despite his incredible success riffing for a few hours every week. I think myself and many mild mentally ill and disaffected men in my generation can relate to the dude quite a bit, especially because he acts in ways we all would naturally, except we spent our life stifling it. So yeah, ethical and well-meaning, 100%. Nice? Nah." And a user named Dasha Kitty replied, "Adam is probably the nicest because he's a toothless pussy-ass bitch."
Mm-hmm. That's... Everything I've seen from Adam seems to be he's actually pretty pleasant. Yeah, so Dasha Kitty is referring to Dasha, one of the hosts of Red Scare, who actually used to be engaged to Adam.
That is correct. So yeah, just a very... The irony is rising at incredible rates on this episode already.
If you don't know if you aren't like pretty steeped in Cum Town, this just makes no sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's hard to... we found a few posts that sort of talk about Cum Town that aren't Cum Town fans, which is nice. But the problem, it's just like so many online communities, there's just so much shit that you have to know.
Also, the idea that Nick is in any way, and listen, Jake Flores is really just an untakeable guy, and I'm not saying you shouldn't make fun of him, but the idea that Nick has been like holding back on Jake is pretty fucking insane. Maybe he just didn't comment on this specific thing where Jake got, revealed to be a cum cookie eating porn guy, but I think he just probably wasn't on the internet at that point. I think he was off. The only reason he didn't comment is because he wasn't on Instagram or Twitter. Like, he's commented so many times on calling Jake a faggot and a retard and gay and a piece of shit and
apparently
a loser.
Raping someone with Down syndrome. There's a story that he essentially spread about.
Well, he always spread that as a joke, but he knew what would happen.
Well, you just go to Jake Flores' Twitter, and every single day someone's saying that to him, and that joke was like 5 years ago.
Nick really threaded the needle with that one because he did. I remember I somewhat recently re-listened to the bit where that started, and he does immediately say it's a joke, but he knew that what would happen, and it did. So he gets to play it both ways. He gets to be like, I didn't actually say that. I was just kidding. But then this guy he hates every day has somebody being like, "Don't you fuck retarded girls?" Kind of the perfect crime if you think about it.
That's
great. He really is some sort of maniacal freak, and it's
Machiavellian,
awesome.
Yes.
Also, it's hilarious that one of the least embarrassing things Jake has done is eat his own nut off a cookie. That wasn't even that good to me. It was funny, but it wasn't like...
Yeah, honestly, it's funny just to see a guy doing that.
Sure.
But the funniest stuff is him talking about he's looking to like lead a revolution or whatever. It's like, all right, man, that's way gayer than eating your own cum. You're just not going to do that.
Yeah.
Now we'll get back to the post in a second, but first, this episode of Report This Posted brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. And this month, Manscaped would like to introduce you to their best and biggest ultimate hygiene bundle yet, the Platinum Package 4.0. Manscaped has been known as the leader in below-the-waist grooming. Now trust them with the whole shebang. Join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping using promo code REPORT20. Manscaped's brand new Platinum Package 4.0 is the biggest bundle they've ever offered, giving you a bulk discount on Manscaped's top products. Inside this Platinum Package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Ultra Premium Body Wash, Ultra Premium 2-in-1 Shampoo plus Conditioner, Ultra Premium Deodorant, Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant, Crop Reviver Ball Spray Toner, Anti-Chafing Boxers, and this Shed Travel Bag to hold your goods while traveling. Now, we've been using Manscaped products over here for a few months, and for me, it's changed my grooming routine entirely. And hey, with the Platinum Package 4.0, you can now completely upgrade your shower routine as well with the Ultra Premium Body Wash and Ultra Premium 2-in-1 Shampoo plus Conditioner. You'll have your skin and hair feeling hydrated and smelling fresh. Now, both the Lawnmower 4.0 Body Trimmer and Weed Whacker Nose and Ear Hair Trimmer feature proprietary advanced skin-safe technology to protect your delicate parts and holes. Both are waterproof, so you can shave with less mess. And hey, speaking of less mess, their Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner will keep your boys tight and dry. Once they touch your sack, you'll never go back. Unzip your pants and see Platinum. Get 20% off and free shipping using promo code REPORT20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using promo code REPORT20. That's REPORT20. It's time you enjoyed the finer things in life, so why don't you get a Platinum Package for your Platinum Package with Manscaped?
Great.
Well, this is another one from the subreddit r Red Scare Pod. Nick is practically coming out as gay or bi, right? In a blog post from a few weeks ago about his eye infection, he said it felt like punishment from God, and the transgression he listed was looking at men the wrong way. And in the latest Cum Town Premium, there was a joke about his closetness, and Stav acknowledged it too. Andrew Sampai said, "It's all a bit. The man has pulled off one of the most successful queer-baiting schemes in history. Look at what he actually does, who DMs he gets into, who he dates, etc. He may be bi, like some men or something, but for the most part, he's like the rest, and you wouldn't think otherwise if it wasn't for an ironically racist podcast making jokes." Numerous Potatoes said, "I mean, he's joked for literally the entirety of the show about being molested earlier in his life turns you gay. Might make him less suicidal if he actually came out. Who knows?" But then user Creative Shop 4628 said this to the entire subreddit: "Please, for the love of God, will you people just shut the fuck up about this dude?"
Again, on the subreddit not dedicated to their show.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with him. They keep talking about him.
Now, to be fair, one of the best bits I can remember Nick doing is offhandedly saying that an older neighborhood kid molested him when he was a child, and there was literally no feeling behind it. It was just a statement that he made, and it just derailed the entire episode. So, hey, maybe these freaks that were on Reddit are onto something. Who knows?
Man, I think probably someday I'll have some sort of retarded podcast as a way to make money. And the thought of getting big enough that a bunch of even more retarded people online they theorize about my sex life is so horrifying to me.
Buddy, oh boy.
Sam sure likes to joke about sucking penis. Maybe he actually likes it. Yeah, actually, one time he said that.
Like, the thought of people doing that about me just makes my fucking skin crawl.
Yeah, you can see why these guys don't like any of this.
I'm reminded whenever I read this shit why. I kind of get them ending the podcast. Like, this seems like hell to have surrounding your life all the time.
On the other hand, they are now making over $100,000 a month on Patreon.
A month? Yeah. God damn.
Yep.
So that helps a little bit. Plus,
to walk away from that is insane.
Yeah. So, but since they're all getting back into stand-up comedy now, I guess they are just about to end it, which will be fun.
I am sad. I will miss it very much. But if they are hating it that much and they have other ways to make 5 figures a month, then I suppose fucking God bless.
We'll see. We'll see how long it lasts.
You got a post, Sam?
Yes, I do. This was originally posted in the now deleted Cum Town subreddit, and I managed to track it down on BitChute. It is a self-filmed video of a slightly sickly-looking man in his early to mid-20s, and the following is a transcript of the video. Also, it's in like a German accent or something, but I can't really do it, so I'm just going to read it. Okay. Hey, guys. Hey, what's up, guys? This is Danny from the Cum Town subreddit. Hi, Adam, especially. I never really liked you. I was always confused by your exoskeleton, but I somehow got your message across that you want us to do heroin. So this is me following the orders of Adam, the Jew. He's a pause there. He then crushes up a little bit of heroin and forms it into a snortable wine.
Okay.
That takes longer than expected. That drops the traumatic effect of the video immensely. But here we go. Adam, thank you for bringing us to the light, and this one's for you, man. He then snorts the heroin and sighs. I never tried it before, man. I hope you were right. 0 tolerance. I love you, Adam. You don't have to be funny or entertaining, and you can disrupt people as long as you want. I love you.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds about right. That is in no way surprising.
Really starting this one out strong with the traumatic things going on in the posts here.
It's I think that's the most upsetting Cum Town thing I can recall having seen online.
Now, how would you with your future podcast? How would you feel when somebody sends you a video of them railing heroin?
I'd like to think they couldn't possibly get that message from me, considering I'm relatively publicly straight edge. So it would be very insane if somebody was schizophrenic enough to think the straight edge guy wants me to do heroin.
By telling me he's straight edge.
I'm not sure Adam told anyone to do heroin either. So I don't know. Did he? I don't.
You have to read between the lines.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I think straight edge is the same thing. Oh, straight edge. I take a razor blade and form some lines with a straight edge, and then snort them. Yeah. It's
an extremely good point.
Yeah.
I heard a very good. I feel very bad for Adam. Also, I think the exoskeleton remark is like a schizophrenic reference to everybody calling Adam a bug, which is something that
I believe
non-Cum Town fans probably need to know.
Will not know. But
there's a 5-year-old running bit that Adam is a bug who eats dust. Mm-hmm. It is very funny, but I feel bad for Adam because my friend Andy Haynes, who has been on Cum Town a couple times and is old friends with those guys, he told me that Adam was like at Target returning something. Probably very Jewishly returning something like 4 years ago, and he was in the middle of like arguing with the customer service person and got a phone call and it was like important and stepped outside, and it was his dad telling him that his mom's cancer was back, and he started crying, and then some guy he didn't know just went, "Hey, Adam," and Adam looked over at him. He goes, "You're a fucking bug, dude." You hear something like that, you think, okay, maybe $25,000 a month is not worth it.
Yeah. Again, really painting a picture on why they probably don't want to keep doing this.
Yeah.
Imagine you just found out your mother is going to die soon, and some stranger interrupts your moment of grief to call you a bug.
Yeah. That's the dream when you get into comedy, isn't it? One day something like that can happen.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
It is.
I'd love to be recognized in. Oh wait, not quite like that.
Not like that.
I have had I'm not even in the same fucking league as well known as these guys, but I was at I had just seen Stav at the Stand in New York, and I was standing upstairs after the show, and some guy was looking at my phone, and some guy comes right up in front of me and just goes, "My ass is gay," and I was like, oh my god. He was singing one of my own songs at me, so that's the closest I've come to that.
Hey, I mean, that's something.
You gotta recognize.
Yeah, that's what I want to happen is people to sing about being gay to me in public.
It happens to be the closest thing I have is people I know that listen to the show will just come up and repeat bits to me that we've done on the show that I don't remember doing, and that's even more. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy?
That's
right.
somehow even worse when it's somebody you know, though.
Yeah.
That's really embarrassing because then it's like, oh, you've literally heard everything I've said. That's not good.
I never realize it until it happens. I'm like, fuck, that's right.
Yeah, people come up to you and they're like, God, you fucking faggot. And you're like, you must listen to my podcast. Aha, I see you're referencing my silly little podcast, calling me a faggot.
You know what? Happens 2-3 times a week.
Yeah. Oh my god. People it's weird. Even when I'm like driving, people yell at their car at me. How do they even know?
They have they're motioning and roll down the window and screaming at me at a red light. Yeah. Pretty cool. Hey, speaking of stuff like that, former actress and current podcaster Erica Heidewald sent out a series of tweets during the heyday of the Me Too movement. A couple years ago, I helped a bunch of women come forward about someone who was sexually harassing dozens of women in the LA improv community. We came forward with our own personal stories, and some people took it seriously, but many demanded proof. Nick Mullen revealed that he had pretended to be a girl with Down syndrome and sent this guy who harassed us messages on OkCupid that the guy then responded to. That ended up being the thing that took him down. People saw with their own eyes the filthy things this guy wrote to, quote, her. But don't overlook the fact that Mullen had, for fun, gone on OkCupid, pretended to be a young girl with Down syndrome, and messaged men. That's the kind of guy he is. He then became beloved by online leftists because he trolls liberals, I guess. So, that's your hero.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's
pretty good. Don't know what to tell you, lady. That is awesome.
You have no detail of that is anything but fucking great.
Pretending to be a girl with Down syndrome on OkCupid and entrapping a guy who's serially harassing women.
I remember the details of those messages were horrifying.
Of course. I mean,
he was pretending to be somebody with like the mental capacity of like a 7-year-old, and this guy was like when your grandma goes to sleep, do you think you can pull up?
Come on. No, I don't.
Mullen was saying, this guy was saying to Mullen, like, when your grandma goes to sleep, do you think you can open your bedroom window and let me in?
No, that's
but no, Nick Mullen he deserves to be dragged for that. Not the guy that he caught that none of you seem to be able to take down.
It's so, that is the thing, is that somehow he, in this series of tweets, he still somehow comes out as like the villain in it.
Also, hold on. It's not in public. It's just to make yourself laugh to do that. Yeah. Where's the harm coming?
That's you know what? I do think it is kind of a victimless crime, except for the victim, the other victims that are tangentially related to it.
I guess the people who are, if he's actively messaging people, I guess you might be upset receiving a message from someone you think is retarded, but it seems like he's only helping the world if he potentially catches a guy like this, which he did. And it must just be fun to just sit around and pretend like that online.
I guess it must be.
I might do that.
It must be fun.
Got to be a good time. Yeah, just downloading a picture of Corky from a different, whatever it is, the sitcom. What the hell is it? And using that as your profile picture on Hinge.
Corky the Retard.
Yeah, that's right. That great ABC sitcom we all used to watch in the late 80s.
God, what was it?
I loved Corky the Retard on ABC.
Yeah, there's been quite a few attempts to cancel old Mullen. It's at this point, I think even the biggest attackers have realized that it can't happen.
It's not going to happen.
At this point.
It does bring me some comfort that, like, because I just think if they have not been successfully canceled, I'm not doing anything worse than them. So I can kind of
the
take
thing is,
solace
you kind
in
of
that.
have to do something worse. You just need to like build up such an unpenetrable wall that it's like, all right, we just can't, because you either have to be doing nothing at all or just go so over the top that people that get canceled the most are like they get caught with tweets from like 7 years ago they forgot to delete.
You're more likely to get canceled if you're pretending to be something you're not, and then you get caught being naughty.
Yeah, that's the best kind. Yeah, this the lady saw this before with Norm Macdonald, the lady that tries to make Nick look bad, but everyone just realizes that he's funny. Lady did it with Norm Macdonald when she was like right after he died. She was like, "Yeah, Norm was a sex pest and a misogynist and all that." I asked him. I asked him to name 5 funny women, or he was like, "There's only 5 funny women ever," and she's like, "Can you name them?" And then he only named 2, which is very funny to like. Yeah, and she was like saying that like, "Look how horrible this guy is. He can only name 2 funny women." I was like, "That's a very funny thing to do, to say there's 5 funny women and then not even naming 3."
Also, you stupid bitch, he's kidding.
Yeah, it's understandable that he's backstage with another comic having fun, and this lady's acting like.
You think the guy who spent like fucking 40 years, 50 years in comedy can't think of like 6 funny women? He is trolling you, you dumb bitch.
It is the level of how serious people take this stuff is very funny. It's hilariously funny.
That lady would not make the list, I can guarantee. Whoever that is. Hey, this was posted over on 4chan.
Oh boy.
Fucks. Story time of my autism. Be me. Realize my cardio is shit, so start running at night because it's getting hot. Get kind of bored, so I start listening to podcasts. Discover Cum Town. As I'm running, I'm also laughing a good bit because it's a funny podcast. Eventually started hearing people in my neighborhood talk about hearing a guy sprinting down their streets at 2 a.m. laughing. Talking to my neighbor one time and he tells me he doesn't even go out at night to put his garbage away because he's freaked out about this. People think a psycho comes out at night looking for people. Realize how autistic I am. There's very few streetlights in my neighborhood too, so the most people ever catch of me is either really quick or really obscure. I also run with my hood up because it's gone on for too long for people to find out it was me. So just a autistic hoodie guy with a robotic laugh running down the street in the middle of the night. Yeah.
That's fucking terrifying.
Adam gay.
He's back.
He almost said it.
Housewife like clutching her, like looking out the window, like he's back, George. He's back. It's just a guy lumbering down the street.
Go back to the room, mother. I'll take care of this.
This white or this middle class white suburban neighborhood that's just terrified of this guy running.
The autistic bandit. It's roaming the streets.
Now, meanwhile,
I relate to this though. I relate to this.
I know. There's a lot of posts here where you can say that.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. This is a show that when I'm listening to it and I pull up to a stoplight, I like turn my radio down because I don't want anybody to like. It's like a guy listening to a white guy listening to rap music, except I'm listening to 3 other white guys saying that they're gay over and over again. So.
I was one time just driving in like very heavy but fast traffic, and I don't remember. I wish I remember what the bit was, but they made me laugh so hard that I was like terrified I was going to get in a crash because I could not stop laughing and I couldn't see straight. Like there were tears in my eyes. I couldn't breathe right. I paused it and I just couldn't stop laughing, and there was no place to pull over. It was fucking terrifying.
Yeah, there's that happens fairly often with that show, and it makes up for the fact that there's sometimes 40-minute stretches where there's really nothing funny going on.
It's true.
Yeah,
sometimes there's some conspiracy theory stuff, so that's great.
That's true. They will just, and occasionally they'll
beginning
have
of the pandemic.
Some of the worst takes on politics possible.
Yeah, they really fucking miss the mark sometimes, and
that's much funnier that way.
Well, sometimes it is aggravating when they're being sincere but wrong, and it's like when Nick is being condescending and wrong at the same time, and it's not a bit. It's very annoying.
Yeah,
it's when you really realize that he's fallible. He is human.
Yeah, it turns out he's not perfect, as we all thought he was.
Yes.
He's actually not a complete genius when it comes to politics, to leftist politics.
He is one of the archetypal cases of the retarded genius, which is a type of guy in the world, and he's one of the very classic types.
It's true. I think your next post, Sam, has to do with about leftist stuff too, doesn't it?
That's a good point.
I believe you. I don't remember what order this is in, but I believe you. Here's another one from 4chan. And Anon posted this. Why is leftist shit so popular right now? I've noticed the rise of left-wing adjacent podcasts becoming so popular to the point where people in real life reference them. They shill their pro-socialist commie takes in their jokes too. Here is a perfect example. Cum Town. They make around $100,000 a month. All three hosts are adamantly left-wing. In fact, they're very far left and degenerate as fuck. This podcast doesn't add anything of value or insightful to anyone's life. It's literally just three retards laughing about random shit and using old movie references. But for some reason, it converted three of my friends into leftists. One of them, a literal white nationalist. Now he's blue-pilled as fuck.
Oh, man.
I know a lot of you have noticed this. This is funny because it's the opposite complaint that you constantly hear from annoying woke people.
Yeah. Like, Cum Town is some sort of a alt-right pipeline or something.
Yeah, these guys are too left. They've actually done more for the left than any other existing entity out there.
Right. Yeah, well, it's funny because this guy that was a white nationalist that got converted via Cum Town has to just have the most swayable beliefs in the planet.
It's like, hearing a guy say, suck my dick, I'm gay, and he's like, you know what? I think I'm going to change my view.
I am a Bernie guy.
Maybe I shouldn't call them that word.
Going up to his skinhead meeting and being like, referencing the gamer word, and all the guys being like, what the hell are you talking about?
You mean boop? And then he said, he heard Jamel Johnson blackly say that he sucked penis, and he's like, you know what? Maybe they're not so bad.
They with the capital T.
Yeah. Also, they can go like months without even talking about politics in any
I know.
way.
Oh my god, yeah. It's so
it's always been sort of lumped in with your Chapo trap houses of the world that are like actually objectively a political podcast. But yeah, they rarely, and especially pro-socialists. I mean, I'm sure they probably are, but they don't talk about it that much.
No,
I remember around the election or during the Bernie primaries they did, but otherwise they talk about UPN shows and eating pussy and stuff.
talk about Moesha.
Yeah.
Recently, they talk a lot about what they're going to have for lunch.
Yeah, well,
that's one of the main topics of the podcast is what they're going to be eating in the next 2 hours.
And you know what? That's when you can kind of time out there's about 10 to 15 minutes left of the episode.
And you know what? I still somehow managed to enjoy them talking about what they might get for lunch.
You know what? It makes you think about your own lunch, and it brings it a little bit closer and kind of tightens the circle a little bit, right?
Yeah, I hear that. I think, hey, I eat lunch too. I'm just like Nick and Stav and Adam. But not Adam. He's a fucking gay Jew. But Stav, and especially Nick, I'm a lot like him. I like lunch.
He's probably be my best friend if we hung out. I bet he'd like give me a high five and stuff. He'd probably like do like a really cool like urban style fist bump with me.
I
be
bet
like so awesome.
Just stare right through me as I talk to him, and then walk away with just while muttering something. That
when you have two autistic guys staring through each other, who's looking at what at that point?
Yeah. When you look into the void, and the void also looks back.
What's it look like when two mirrors are staring at each other? You know, I don't know.
Damn. Cool. Hey, there's a whole subreddit dedicated to nothing but podcasts on the Earwolf Network. It is a deeply depraved place. User DeBoy went there to ask, what does this subreddit think of Cum Town? I never see that pod mentioned here. Is there a reason for that? Kinda Zara's commented, I have been listening for a while now and contribute to their Patreon. I will say this. I don't feel good about how funny I find this podcast. I constantly bust up while listening. It takes a while to understand that almost everything they say is soaked in irony. I am a hardcore leftist, and I am happy to see more podcasts hosted by leftists getting big. These guys may not be the best spokespeople for the left, but they are funny as hell. Get Your Face Adjusted replied, Give it 5 to 20 years, and it will eventually come out that the self-proclaimed progressive, quote, edgy comedians who play, quote, ironically lazy racist characters are not actually progressive or ironic. It happens every single time. That type of humor basically exclusively caters to other white self-proclaimed progressives who pretend that they're woke because they follow socialists on Twitter. Everyone else sees it for what it is, a lame excuse to keep performing the same hack bits actual racists perform. With every racist joke, they are showing you that they do not have the beliefs they say they do, but keep on ignoring it and pretending that it's harmless and normal. White liberal America in a nutshell. Mm-hmm. And the most upvoted comment on this entire thread was this response to that from user I Like Texas. Whatever, man, that shit's boring. Who cares?
Which is a Stav reference,
Which is a Stav quote, yep.
Yeah.
This is a Stav bot, in fact. The wonderful Stav bot that we may come back. We'll see. Stav may just say, heard rumblings, he may really just say, fuck this before the year's out.
Yeah. I gotta say, the window of 5 to 20 years is
that's a pretty big. That's a big thing to be like them. Like, hey, you remember that podcast from 20 years ago?
Yeah.
First of all, what's a podcast?
Yeah.
Secondly,
so it's
two of those three guys will be dead
right now.
Now, you got to give him credit though. It does happen every single time. That. By the way, this fucking retard is forgetting what Earwolf was fucking built on, which is Nick Kroll saying soft A N-words and everybody saying retard and doing ethnic characters, doing Chinese voice. All comedy used to include that because everybody didn't pretend that they didn't understand jokes. And then in like 2013 started to change. But you're on a fucking message board for a company who all of their podcasts basically used to be like kind of like Cum Town.
It's true.
So yeah. Oh, but I guess. Scott Aukerman has come out now. He's a Nazi, and all these people. 5 to 20 years. It always happens. It always happens. Nick Kroll is a very famous Richard Spencer acolyte.
Yeah.
Fucking retard.
I started listening to when it was called Comedy Death Ray.
Me too.
Episode 8, I think. I was in there super early, 2006, I think. Or 2007, something like that. But I do remember one of those early episodes. James Adomian was on, and he referred to Black Friday as N-word Friday, but he just straight up said the entire N-word, like hard R and everything.
Very funny.
Which is a great thing to say. All right, we're going to stop right here because we're going to finish the rest of this episode over on patreon.com/reportthispost. That's right. If you enjoyed this first 20-ish to 30-ish minutes of the episode, you'll be happy to know that there's about an hour extra of this one over there on patreon.com/reportthispost. Head over there, and all you got to do is subscribe for $5 a month. You'll get every single full episode with dozens of more posts a month, plus an additional bonus episode every single week. Unbelievable. This is literally millions of posts that we read on the air every single month. Possibly billions. I have not counted. In fact, I can't count. I'm actually illiterate as well. But irregardless, patreon.com/reportthispost, and we'll see you over there, and God bless.